41. Did you pass? Alex's voice is breathless in my ear, and I press the phone hard into my cheek, wanting to get as close to her as possible. I did. I'm off probation. The laughter bubbles out of her. Congratulations. I knew you could do it. Thanks for believing in me. I fall back on my bed, grinning from ear to ear. I couldn't have done it without you, really. Oh, please, the credit is all yours. It's not like I studied for you, or took the test for you, or... Fine, fine, I did it all by myself with no help from you whatsoever. Is that better? Well, if you're going to be such an ingrate, I'm not going to invite you to this awesome party I'm throwing this weekend. A party? Yep, it'll be a rager. The invite list is crazy. It's too bad you won't be there. I pause. She never mentioned anything about a party. Trying not to sound too eager, I ask, who's going to be there? Please don't say Aaron. Anybody but him. Me? And possibly you, if you're nice to me. I laugh. What? You don't need to invite me. Have a party by yourself then. G1, Alexis says, affronted. What? That isn't the nicest thing you've said to me, you know. You're the one who said I'm not invited. Well, you're the guest of honor, so you have to come. The party is for you. It's to celebrate the fact that you've passed all your classes. In that case, I stare at the ceiling, imagining Alexis's face. On the other end of the line, real Alexis clears her throat and asks me a question. Above me, fake Alexis stares me down with her honey-colored eyes, her eyelashes feather soft. G1. What? Fake Alexis disappears into the ceiling. Come back. I said, will you please come to my apartment this weekend and celebrate with me? Well, as you know, I'm really busy, but seeing as I am the guest of honor, I suppose I can spare a night. You're lucky I'm not there with you right now. I'd kick your ass. I snort. Yeah, right. Alexis lowers her voice to a whisper. I strain to hear her. By the way, did you hear the news? What news? They found a man dead near my apartment a few days ago. The entire place was swarming with cops. It was crazy. They blocked off the entire street for 4 hours. My stomach turns. What? What happened? No idea, but Melissa's cousin works for the police department and he's saying it's been investigated as a homicide. I guess certain body parts were missing, and the man was drugged. Sleeping pills, they think. My breath catches in my throat. Time slows down. Alexis continues talking, oblivious. Now that I think about it, the cops and everything that happened that day after that night when we had our study group. Crazy, huh? Yeah, crazy, I stammer. Anyway, what classes are you taking this quarter? In a few days, George will be leaving for a week-long business trip to Thailand. He packs his bags excitedly, and as I observe him stacking his suitcases by the door, all I think about is how he described Ji-yoon and the mysterious woman named Jen. I want to ask Oma if she knows about George's secret life, if she even cares, but I replay in my mind a clip of her sitting on the floor, her hair lank and wet on her face as her tears dribble to the floor. I feel the same terror, hear her shallow breathing, and I know I can't say anything. 42. Somewhere George is screaming. I follow the sound of his voice, walking blindly in the darkness. He's alone in Amma's bed. When he sees me, his eyes are wide, his dismay reflected in them. He knows. He knows that I'm going to destroy him. I run my fingers along his face, brushing against his skin. I'll take my time. I want to enjoy every second of this. There's a loud snore, and I'm wide awake and disoriented, standing in my room, feet sinking into the carpet. My hands are caressing an invisible face, an invisible set of eyes. I have no recollection of standing or walking. In front of me, Ji-yoon is a shapeless heap, tangled in the blankets. I reach for her, but as I do, I realize it's not Ji-yoon at all. My grogginess fades. The two of us have shared a room since we were children, and every mannerism of hers is engraved in my memory. Her mumbling when she is lost in a dream, her twitches when she is first drifting off. Recalibrating takes me a second, but soon I understand who it is. It's my mother. I'm in her room. She's sleeping on her side, huddled over in the corner, even though the rest of the bed is empty. Perhaps it's because she's used to making herself small. Perhaps it's because she spent a lifetime making herself inconspicuous for men like my father and George. Maybe it's an unconscious reflex now. I feel sorry for her, and even sorrier when I study her features and see Ji-yoon and myself in them, all the pieces of us weaving in and out of her. We are tangled together in this ball of yarn. My mother, Ji-yoon, and me. The next morning, Oma sips her coffee with a pensive expression. I had the strangest dream, she says. Without George around, she is barefaced and in a set of old flannel pajamas with holes along the legs. She yawns. There was a ghost in my room, a female ghost. She stood at the foot of my bed for a long time watching me sleep. I wasn't afraid of her though. I knew her somehow. Isn't that strange? Maybe it was Halmione's ghost, Ji-yoon suggests helpfully. Maybe, Oma smiles, comforted by the thought. Wouldn't that be something? My mother visiting me in my dreams? 43. The wedding is only 3 short months away, and without George here to act as a distraction, my mother becomes obsessed with planning. 3 months, she mutters under her breath, panicked. Her clothing and her hair are in disarray, and the bags under her eyes have become the shade of a cooked eggplant. Today, she has gone to 4 different craft stores, dragging Ji-yoon with her. They return after a few hours with 10 shopping bags stuffed to the brim with colored tissue paper, chicken wire, and electrical tape. A scowl is etched on my sister's face. When she passes by, she throws me a dirty look, as if it's my fault that our mother chose Ji-yoon to accompany her instead of me. At night, while she sits in front of the TV, Oma works on altering her dress. It would have been easier to send it to someone, cheaper too, probably, but my mother is stubborn once she has made up her mind about something. Isn't it bad luck to rewear a dress from a failed marriage? Ji-yoon groans. I slap the back of her head. Don't say that. She glowers. You know it's true. You just don't want to admit it. We watch our mother for a while longer. She keeps prickling herself by accident. And every time this happens, she hisses and puts her finger in her mouth. How long do you think this will last? Ji-yoon says. Do you think they'll even make it to the wedding day? I shrug. Who knows? Oma has already made her veil out of a few yards of lace she found in the discount bin at the craft store. It's crooked, but she seems happy with the result. She wears it while she's working on the dress. Occasionally I catch her glancing at the door, at the shoe rack, and I'm reminded of the time when my father left. Even now, she's worried George won't return from his trip, that he'll change his mind about the wedding, that he'll change his mind about her. Umma will focus on the centerpieces next, and she wants both me and Ji-yoon to help her. The tissue paper, chicken wire, and electrical tape she has purchased will be used to make flowers, a craft project she saw on the internet. She has already made a handful of prototypes, which roll around on the living room coffee table. They are wilted and clumsy, but Ji-yoon and I smile and nod when she shows to us. The storage closet, once filled with broken umbrellas and sweaters and holiday decorations, and my father's old things, is now filled with boxes of wedding decorations. It's been a long time since I saw a red and white peppermint candy anywhere. 44. Alexis has purchased a bottle of champagne for our celebration. On the table, there's a full spread of snacks: hot Cheetos, potato chips, a vegetable tray, and a plate of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies. Melissa isn't home, and we sit on Alexis's squashy couch, our thighs touching. It makes my heart race, being so close to her, and I take a shaky breath, hoping she doesn't notice. Alexis doesn't have any champagne glasses, so we drink from coffee mugs, clinking them together and swallowing the effervescent liquid in noisy gulps. Other than the time when I tried champagne after Amma and George's engagement, I haven't had more than a sip of alcohol before, and immediately I feel lightheaded. My nervousness evaporates, and my tongue loosens. This is so good, I burp loudly, covering my mouth with my hand. Oops, is this what being drunk is like? We break into a fit of giggles. We watch a trashy television show for a few minutes, and then Alexis turns to me, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. Should I get something stronger? Stronger? She gets up and disappears into the apartment's sole bedroom. I follow her uncertainly. I've never been inside, and I look around curiously at the posters and decorations on the walls. This is your side? I ask, touching her bedside table and lamp. Yeah, I don't have much. She shrugs before lowering herself onto the ground. From under the bed she retrieves a shoebox, which she opens with a flourish. Aha! Inside there's a bottle of amber-colored liquid which I recognize as tequila. Next to it there's a clear bottle of what looks to be vodka and a collection of familiar white pills. The sleeping pills she gave me last time. It takes me by surprise seeing them sitting so innocently in the box like that. She grabs the brown bottle and leads me back into the living room. I've never had tequila before, and even though I'm worried about seeming inexperienced, I let her pour some into my mug. We clink them together, and then Alexis throws her head back and chugs it down. I follow her lead. The liquid burns my throat. I cough and sputter, and Alexis slaps my back, laughing. Immediately afterward, warmth spreads throughout my body. My cheeks are red, I can tell, and Alexis laughs. You look like a lobster. Thanks a lot, I mumble. Some friend you are. Uh-huh, don't act like you didn't like it. She pauses, pouring us more shots. I'm so glad I met you. I moved here thinking I'd have the time of my life, but it's hard here being alone. I miss home. Me too, I say quietly, taking a sip from my mug. Alexis thinks I'm joking. If you miss home so badly, just go, she says playfully. You're what, 10 minutes away? How do I explain to her that the home I miss isn't a place? It's a time when my life made sense, when things made sense. I bite my tongue. 20. Then the idea comes to me that sometimes when I'm with her, it feels something like home, too. Not the exact place that I'm searching for, or the one that I've lost, but close. Anyway, you're my first real friend, and the school year is almost over already, Alexis continues, interrupting my train of thoughts. Isn't that sad? Not really. I stare at my hands, which are trembling. I've lived in LA my whole life, and you're my only friend. That's sad. Her expression softens. It's not that sad, Jiwon. At least we can be lonely together. That sounds like the worst, I say, fighting a grin. You and me together? My life would be in shambles. You're a terrible influence, obviously. I gesture toward the empty tequila bottle. Alexis's mouth drops in mock outrage, and she swats at me playfully. I'm an angel, she protests. If anything, you're the bad influence. I let her push me, her palms soft against my ribs. It feels good. I'm laughing and she's laughing, and she stops abruptly, her breathing heavy. I'm hyper aware of the shrinking distance between us and the smell of her perfume and the way her eyes keep darting across my face. My heart is pounding in my ears. I'm lightheaded. But then her fingers go to her neck and she freezes. My necklace! She shrieks. It's gone! I snap out of it and move away from her. There's an immediate sense of lack in the place where our legs are no longer touching. Alexis drops to the floor in a panic and starts running her fingers over the thread of old carpet. We'll find your necklace, I say automatically. I join her on the floor to help her look. She doesn't seem to notice that I'm sweating and out of breath. Why is she avoiding your gaze? You made her uncomfortable. By the time midnight rolls around, we are wasted, stumbling out onto the sidewalk. The nights are growing warmer now that it's April and spring is in full bloom. My breath tastes sour from the tequila. My head is cloudy and my body feels so light I could be floating. It's a relief to be this drunk. There's a total absence of George and his eyes, the wedding, my mother, Ji-yoon. I don't even think about the homeless man and the gaping hole in his head. Instead, all I think about is Alexis and how good it feels to be just with her here, to exist in her presence. We haven't found her necklace, but luckily she has had enough liquor that it's quickly forgotten. I'm hungry, Alexis whines, and as if it's responding, my stomach rumbles. Mortified, I cover it with my hands. She giggles. You too? Starving, I say. We walk along the road, our arms linked together. Alexis is talking about all the things she wants to eat: pad thai, an In-N-Out burger, ice cream, while I look the places up on my phone. The Thai place is closed, I say, and Alexis groans. It looks like In-N-Out is closed too. No, you've got to be joking, Alexis says. Nope, no jokes here. I show her my screen. She narrows her eyes as she reads the website I've opened. What are we going to do? She's acting as though it's the end of the world, and I can't help but snicker. Ji-won, stop laughing at me. What are we going to do? We are going to starve to death. You're so dramatic. I can't help myself. I push her, and she reaches over to push me back, and then we are standing in the middle of the road in some kind of battle, laughing at each other. Give up, Ji-won, you lose. Okay, fine, I lose. I move away from her and she grins, her teeth sparkling white under the moonlight. What do I get? What's my prize? What do you mean? I ask, almost tumbling over my feet. I won, so I should get a prize. Anything you want, I stammer. My palms are sweating. Alexis falls silent. She cups her chin in her hand. Fine, I get to ask you a question, any question, and you have to answer it truthfully. Sure. Tell me your deepest, darkest secret. My secret? I I don't have any. Come on, everyone has a secret. The night is so still that I wonder for one moment if I'm stuck in a photograph. There's a rumble of cars passing on a nearby street. I listen to the engines as they hiss. Well, what is it? I poke my tongue out at her. My secret is that I hate when people ask me to tell them secrets. She pushes me again, and this time I'm so caught off guard by it that I fall flat on my butt. Alexis looks horrified, her hand over her mouth. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I grab her and pull her down until she tumbles on top of me. We are so loud we could probably wake the whole neighborhood, but I don't care, and neither does Alexis. Then, suddenly, there's a figure shrouded in black at the end of the road, watching us with gleaming eyes, and I scream. Alexis screams too, and we huddle together in fear. The figure comes forward, out of the shadows. The street lamp flickers as if on cue, and we see his face. Geoffrey's face. What the hell? I shout. You scared the crap out of us. Sorry, ladies. I was taking a walk when I heard a ruckus. Came over to check it out. What a coincidence it is, running into you guys here. Alexis stands up. I do too. We both glare at him. Jiwon, I texted you a few times, but you didn't respond. Everything okay? Are you still upset with me? Geoffrey's messages have grown increasingly erratic since our last encounter. They have escalated in frequency, and it's always the same thing. Pleading for me to talk to him, pleading for us to restore our friendship. It's pathetic, really, and only aggravates me further. I thought that he would get the hint and disappear once he realized how offended I was by his stupid, insensitive gift, but he's annoyingly persistent. No, Geoffrey, I say. Just busy. I was meaning to reply. He looks at Alexis with a flicker of contempt, and I remember the way he talked about her. I stand between them, blocking Geoffrey's view. Let's go, I mutter to her. Before we can get away, Geoffrey grabs my arm. You don't know what you're doing, he snaps. I'm suddenly overcome with terror as his face contorts, making him seem older and angrier. It's as though I'm seeing him for the first time. He reminds me of George. Jiwon, you're hurting me. Please get your hands off me, I say. I'm calm, even though my heart is racing. He removes his hand, finger by finger, as if it's painful for him to release me. Fine, he says, stalking away. My eyes bore holes into the back of his head. If you touch me like that again, I'll break your fingers one by one. Alexis and I watch him disappear around the corner before hurrying back to her apartment. How did he even find us out there? Alexis asks, scratching her head. I don't know, I say. Honestly, you were right about him. He's so weird. I pause, glancing at my phone. God, I didn't realize how late it was. My mom is going to kill me. Oops, Alexis says, looking guilty. Sorry, tell her it was my fault. Somehow, I don't think she's going to believe me, I say. Before I can go, can I use the restroom? Of course. She points down the hall and I get up. The room spins. I'm still drunk, unsteady on my feet. Each steps make my stomach churn. Nevertheless, I feel a sense of purpose. I know what I need to do. I'm lucky. Alexis is on her phone, too busy to notice me slip into her room. The shoebox is open on the floor. I reach down and slip a handful of pills into my pocket. 45. Instead of the elevator, I stumble down the stairwell to try and sober up. At the bottom, I push open the door to the alleyway that leads to the street. There's a sharp, guttural moan. A chill crawls up my spine and I shut the door with a snap. I wait a moment before nudging the door open, just a crack, to peek outside. It's dark. I poke my head out and another moan. My heartbeat roars in my ears. The sound is right on the other side. It's foolish to stay, but my curiosity gets the best of me. I turn on my phone's built-in flashlight. On the ground there's a finger. It's twitching. I move my hand up, the light shaking. It bounces around, illuminating the trash scattered around. Crushed takeout boxes, a dented can, a long piece of string. I hold my breath and stabilize the light, moving it closer to the finger. The hand it's connected to is stuttering against the cement. It's a man. He is lying supine on the ground next to the brick wall. His eyes are closed. There's a mottled purple bruise across his cheek and a scratch across his forehead that's leaking blood. Oh my God! I bend down, shining the light directly in his face. Do you need help? Are you hurt? He moans again. I hesitate before moving closer. Should I call an ambulance? At that, his eyes flutter open. The color of his irises makes me gasp. Blue, they're blue. Without thinking, I turn off the flashlight, shoving the phone into my pocket. It's so dark, Jiwon. You can do anything you want. My eyes adjust. I can't hear anything except my own ragged breathing. There's an awful stench in the air, urine, garbage, decay. In spite of the smell, I'm so hungry I can hardly stand it. I run my fingers along his cheek. I press my thumb into his bruise and listen to him hiss in pain. His eyes are closed again, but I want to see. I touch his eyelashes. They are so soft, delicate. Underneath his skin, I can feel the firmness of his eyeball. Imagine the ripeness of his juicy, tender flesh. My mouth waters. I lift his eyelid and stretch it back as far as it can go, watching the glistening pink underside. I want it. I need it. I press my tongue against the white of his sclera. It's salty. His tears, his sweat, I can taste it all. I grab the knife from my bag. My mind is empty except for a blind desire to eat, to devour. I press the blade through his flesh and watch as blood trickles out onto his face. It's so bright against his pale skin, so beautiful. I push down forcefully to break through the cartilage, and as I do, the man howls. The knife clatters to the floor. I get up and bolt behind the dumpster, trying to quiet my breathing. His scream is so loud that my ears ring. I wait for yells and roaring sirens to follow. Beads of sweat dot across my forehead. Time grows, expanding. I imagine every terrible scenario possible: guns aimed at my head, being dragged away in handcuffs, being beaten with a baton. But nothing happens. No curious neighbors peeking out. No sirens, no cops. I'm alone with those beautiful blue eyes. I creep out from behind the dumpster. The knife is lying out in the open. I pick it up and start cutting again. He's quiet now, perhaps sleeping or otherwise numb to the pain, and I work meticulously without stopping. I've cut through a corner of the man's eyelid when it suddenly flaps open. The edge is lifted. Blood oozes out from the corner. I stifle a scream. He cries out and grabs me, his fingers tightening around my wrist. I pull back, trying to loosen his grip. But it's too firm. He's too strong. He tugs me forward. The knife slips from my fingers, out of reach. My joints pop as I strain for it with my free hand, every muscle in my body screaming. He brings me down onto the ground, pulling hard. I'm on my back, sliding closer and closer to him, my shirt lifting, revealing my bare stomach. I can feel the rough concrete scratching against my skin. There's a high pitched whine reverberating in my head. White lights appear in my vision, dancing like shooting stars. I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to break free. I scrunch my eyes shut. I kick him blindly, trying to reach any part of him. His arm, his ribs, his stomach, nothing seems to work. Finally, my foot collides with his head. His neck snaps sideways. I watch as he slams against the brick wall with a sickening thud. He releases me instantly. I don't have to check to know. He's dead. Shaking, I crawl over to his body and touch his arm. He doesn't move. I try to lift him up into a sitting position, but his head lolls back and forth. He wobbles before falling back to the ground. I should feel horrified, but I don't. I feel nothing. I lean against the wall, bury my head in my hands, and cry. I weep until I can no longer take it. Then I stand up, teetering on my unsteady feet, to take what belongs to me. I slip the knife into the edges of the eye socket. The first eye is easy, it pops out with a moist squish. I slice through the optic nerve without hesitation. The second is much harder. I've already damaged it, and all the blood leaking out has made it slippery. I can't get a good grip and resort to wrenching it out with my fingernails. I bite into the cartilage. It splits open in my mouth, the blood shooting down the back of my throat. I'm whimpering like a dog, but I can't help it. The combination of adrenaline and the taste, oh God, the taste, sends waves of pleasure radiating through my body. I am in ecstasy. I choke down the first one, chewing noisily, before shoving the second into my mouth. I suck the blood and fluids and juices out of it, feeling it deflate in my mouth before swallowing. Wiping my hands clean on my jeans, I stumble out onto the sidewalk, back into the light.